Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Season 1, Episode 28, last episode. We're gonna get more this episode than we did last episode. I'm pretty confident about that.
But I think we're thankful for what we got last episode, especially Hohenheim, obviously. It was great kind of seeing everything that we've seen before with the new kind of context added in. And Hohenheim, man, what is he gonna do now from the ending of last episode? What was he already doing? Is this new kind of path that he's going to go down, or was he already wanting to go down a certain path?
I cannot think of a better episode to come out of to be able to meet and see who Father actually is, or the introduction after that episode. So that's where I'm at too.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Sweet.
See, we did get some other new content last episode.
The very beginning of it almost reminds me of like a Mario Kart soundtrack. Do we get Sloth there? Maybe? I don't know. He looked big. He looked like a big boy. Yeah. What the fuck?
Muzan, what are you doing here? I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, she looks like a badass. I like that the doors that Ed's pushing through has been replaced by the teeth of envy, right?
And what was like latching onto him from the door resembles like the people of Xerxes that were used to create envy.
Whoa. Well, here we go. Daddy, I'm home. Oh, Xiaomei's so cute.
We have this old form because we've created our children. Current guess.
This is like when I met your dad for the first time. Good timing! What do you think this does to Gluttony? You think it kills him?
You literally were like, what if we're able to get out right when we're in front of Father?
Oh my god, what a shot!
Oh my god!
There's one. Are we in Envy's mouth? Oh. Oh. Hell yeah.
So what about Gluttony though?
Oh. What the fuck?
Hello, nephews.
誰かと間違えてないか。待て、ホーエン。もしかしてバンホーエンハイムのことか？奴とはどういう関係だ？
Does he not know?
父親。驚いた。
Wow.
Weird energy of this interaction, not what I expected.
It's more like, oh, look at this creation though. You know what I mean? Wow. Oh my god. He's seen it too.
Inside you.
Yeah. Oh.
私には必要のない人間だ。
体を治してくれたけど
気に入らないなその態度。人間を愚か者と笑う奴らと同じだ。
お前は地を排ずる虫を愚か者と思うか？私がお前たち人間に思うのはそれと同じだ。
Jesus.
一気に肩をつける。この際ザグは構ってらんねえ。まことは言ってくれるね、おちびさ。
He just seems so much more experienced at this.
We probably need Hohenheim. Like, we probably need our dad.
Jesus. Yeah, nothing. Oh, what a great song. Oh! Oh, no. What? It's like an EMP? What the fuck?
He can stop them from using alchemy? Carried away with it.
今の繁栄が自分たちの力だけで成し遂げられたと思っているのか？滑稽だ。戻ってきたら教えるって約束だったろうが。はあ？お前ら虫けらとした約束なんて。
God damn it.
喋りすぎだエンビー。はいはい。素材としては悪くなさそうだな。
Material.
使えるコマを増やせるかもしれん。
Oh!
To do that, what are we doing?
Out of Ling?
Wait.
No.
Ling would survive. He would survive. Imagine how desperate they feel.
Oh! Yeah. Does it warp his mind though?
Well, Bradley, we know Bradley isn't sure how much of him is the same.
I hate this. Ling. Oh!
Oh, the conversation of how prepared Lanfan was when they came here.
What?
No, 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 no.
普通拒絶しねえか。
俺は真の皇帝になる男だ。他人の20や30受け入れるだけのでかい懐がなくてどうする。
思い切りのいいやつは好きだぜ。だが後悔すんなよ。
Ling would have the ultimate shield.
手ぶらで帰ったら腕ぶった切ってまで尽くしてくれた進化に合わせる顔がないだろうが。欲しいんだよ。守るために手に入れるために絶対的な力が。危険は元より承知。
その強欲さ気に入ったぜ。どれ
See just how ready you are.
見せてもらおう。リン。ああ、この体の
No.
That's what I was scared about.
この入れ物はグリード様がもらっちまった。
グリードだと。
Does that mean that Wrath is really Wrath and not Bradley?
That's a good point.
覚えてない。
ダブリスの
だからそれはどこのグリードだ。
How many iterations?
The greed before you.
なるほど。奴は俺をすんなり受け入れた。
嘘だ。あいつがそんな簡単に乗っ取られる玉かよ。返事しろレン。レン。
Holy shit.
どうした？
Does she
She
recognize
sees
Ling?
it too.
Oh no.
Yeah. What the fuck?
確かに
Can Scar use alchemy?
人ではないな。
Or alchemy?
Yeah, will either of them be able to fight, you know?
ホムンクルスとグルではないようだな。鋼の錬金術師。
Mm-hmm.
誰だ？あの小柄なのが鋼の錬金術師。
Dreams have been shattered
Aww.
today. You toyed with.
断るごとに邪魔をしてきたやつだな。
Destructive alchemy.
He can't use it now. So as soon as they entered this room, it meant they couldn't use it?
Oh! Alkahestry! Holy shit! Mei Chang!
Nope. They're like, what's the difference?
状況打開のチャンスかもしんねえ。スカーイシュバールの内乱の真実を教えてやれ。内乱のきっかけになった子供の射殺事件。
Oh, you're gonna fucking piss him off.
将校に化けてやったことだ。
詳しく話を聞かせてもらわねばならんようだな。
Just reached his
Oh!
hand back. Oh, but look, Mei Chang's even kind of scared of him right now.
滅ぼされねばならなかった答えによっては。
Oh my god!
我らイシュバールの同胞が眠る神のもとへは行かせん。おお、すげえ。人間のくせにやるな。ブリード、部外者を排除しろ。
俺は信じねえぞ。
Can he fight out of it? Can he fight back?
That's what I'm
ブ
wondering.
リードだ。
Mm-hmm. Al, where's Al?
おいお前、なぜ錬金術が使える？
Nothing?
Yeah,
発
nothing.
動している。人体破壊、いや分解か。
Is it because he's not doing the full process? No.
あと一瞬逃げるのが遅かったらこちらが。
Understanding his power there.
Oh, Xiaomei! Al, please.
The true knight, Al.
Yes!
This is the hero you should have been dreaming of, Mei Chang. Yeah.
Oh. How long can't we use alchemy for?
Right, like it's not just in that room.
お前たち逃げたのではなかったのか。
スカー、この子を連れて地上に逃げられるか。
医者の娘にとって敵であるこの俺を。
正直お前なんかに頼むのは嫌だ。でも今はこの子を逃がすのが先だ。ここに残っても殺されることはない。
今の俺ではその娘を守りながらここを突破するのは無理だ。それに地上に逃げる気はもうとんない。
What?
Smoke screen. Are they gone?
Yeah. Oh! Nice.
Gluttony's been through a lot today, guys.
You've died too much.
Died too much. What a phrasing. We've beat the ultimate shield before.
Yeah, with alchemy.
It's true. Wasn't thinking about that when I said it.
God, great hand-to-hand. Oh! Oh!
That's where Roy is.
It looked like there was something in there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he looks pissed about it too.
Yeah, dude.
Do you think it's our interpretation that like there's a piece of him in there, or like Ling in that moment snapped out of it and now he's playing like a double agent?
The discussion would have to be what, like the dark passenger discussion? Like how much is the control there? Does the whole person exist and is kind of like quieted down?
Either that, or what I'm suggesting, I don't think is the case, is in that split second when Lan Fan was brought up, the real Ling came back and now he's playing the character to, like, you know.
I think that the read that kind of it sounded like you had upon the expression at the very end was probably what I would take as what was happening, which was Greed being so, like, kind of, like, pissed that there was even any sort of fight that started happening internally. Like a sign that he might not have like as much control as he had like thought he should in terms of his power level.
In that line of thinking, if just hearing Lan Fan's name does that, if seeing Lan Fan, what would that do, you know?
Seeing Lan Fan get hurt or be at risk of getting hurt.
Oh!
Are we gonna make like a new Gluttony?
Taking his stone? Oh, it looked like he absorbed it. That's not fair.
Okay, no, but that's a good like question of why would you do that?
Yeah. Okay, that was Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood Season 1, Episode 28. Well, shit. I have hope for Ling, obviously, especially at the end of the episode when we, I think, see a little bit of him in there. Out of the possibilities that we brought up at, you know, the outro, I agree that there's a piece of him there, and it seems like Greed is pretty pissed off about it because of how strong that will is. So I have hope that he will come back, but I had no expectation that he was going to be given a Philosopher's Stone by Father. That's absurd.
It honestly, yeah, I wasn't expecting the giving over of the Philosopher's Stone. If anything, it's kind of like, it's super complicated because it's like, oh, the vessel for the stone that is a human originally needs to obviously be incredibly strong in themselves and their will and their determination to survive being given a Philosopher's Stone, to even you survive the process, you know? So obviously you're already giving it to a strong individual, and if there's a success, then that individual is clearly strong. And so it gives more room for the idea of there actually being a power struggle inside, because yeah, like Greed and the homunculus are incredibly powerful. But if a human has to be strong enough to be able to withstand becoming a vessel or a home for a homunculi, then they have to be a really strong human. And I'm like, that's where the kind of grabbing for power can come from, is you're already admitting that there is a possibility that this human could stand even the ounce of a chance to the stone, let alone
I thought you brought up a really good point in terms of, you know, is Wrath actually like taken over Bradley? Because in the flashback, it seems like no, but it also kind of seems like a merger maybe of the two.
We have no way of knowing.
We saw a little bit of Bradley beforehand,
but we didn't get any like
an
internal
inner monologue.
Thoughts.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Because also the voice plays into it. Like the voice we got for Greed, personality, and that comes through with the dialogue as well. It's very clearly the same personality that we met prior. So I would say that, like, we don't have enough to know what Bradley was actually like as a human to say for sure that the Bradley that we see isn't just Wrath, and if he made another Wrath, it would be exactly like that.
Yeah.
But I think that what that opens up for us is the idea that if there's any ounce of Ling that can fight through here, then that means something interesting could happen with Bradley also. Especially if you think about, like, what are they experiencing? What is Ling experiencing? Obviously, we have proof that Ling could hear what was happening outside of his body, even though he was not in control. Can you see what's happening, hear what's happening, feel things? Are you basically just stuck in a cell within your own body? Does that mean that the human Bradley would also be a passenger inside himself, witnessing everything? Could that human Bradley actually love his son?
I imagine Ling is in a dark space, but can see through his own eyes, just can't do anything about it. Like, you can't move any muscles, you can't blink, you have no control, and you're just having to sit back and watch. But on that Lanfan piece, it's either that's when he exerted the most power, or it's almost like he's asleep the entire time, and upon hearing that, he just, bursts awake a little bit.
Do you mind if we rewatch that specific moment? Because I feel like I need to see what the expression actually was on his face when Lanfan was said. Because I'm like, at the end, when we get Greed's angry expression, like we'd previously said, I could read that as he could just feel that there was an uprising happening within him, that there was a power struggle happening.
Yeah, here, I'm playing it right now. It's just
still Greed's eyes, it was still Greed's eyes both times.
Mm-hmm.
There's a redness to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like it could be like a Greed even being surprised that there was a fight back happening within him.
Yeah. Damn. Well, we don't really get any clarity on who exactly Hohenheim is in relation, who Father is in relation to Hohenheim or Edenal. Like, the best idea we have is uncle, right? And that Hohenheim has a sibling, and that maybe he looks older because he's older, or because he's using his alchemy in a certain way that is aging him physically and taking a toll on him, where Hohenheim isn't.
Right. Like, I feel like that was, when I started this episode, that was my feelings is, okay, the reason that this character, they're probably twins, brothers that look identical to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to look identical to some extent for Ed and Al, even at an older version of a person, even though Ed just saw his dad episodes ago, to be like Hohenheim. So they obviously look incredibly alike. My feelings going into this episode was, oh, he looks older because he's taking out parts of himself to power up these homunculi.
That's very fair.
But I feel like you would also go with, like, what is their relation? Because why is it that Hohenheim is at such kind of opposite ends of how he feels about things and how he feels about humans to Father? Could it be that Father is also his father? Like, that could be a scenario as well. Like, and I don't even mean like birthed him like a human birth. I mean like some or other sort of creation.
Yeah.
To look identical to him in some sort of, like, we're creating another Greed that looks identical to Greed. Oh, it was the Greed before me. Oh, we're going to create another gluttony, but with the memories of this past gluttony.
Yeah. It seems like Hohenheim has the same shoes as Ed. That's pretty interesting. But it also seems like he recognized and felt whatever Father did.
Something, yeah.
And I don't know if that means that, like, in this instance, is it so reaching that even Hohenheim right now, if he tried to use alchemy, he wouldn't be able to? Or is it something that they're equal and he'd still be able to? Or it's outside of, like, a radius of, like, an EMP and he could? I have a couple of thoughts or, like, ideas of what it is that allows him to do what he's able to do. Like, the very obvious thing is the difference between alchemy and alkahestry and Scar being able to utilize it, and because of the different process. That is fair and all to me. What gives me pause and makes me question things is how slightly different but similar he is able to enact and use alchemy as opposed to Ed and Al, right? We know where Ed and Al have been. We know what they've seen partially, what Ed's buried in his memories. Al's buried in his memories. And within that experience, they're now able to perform alchemy without circles, right? Mm-hmm. With just subtle movement. But Father is the perfected version of that, right? He's able to stand still, not move a muscle, and
you
be able to do it.
You said it during the episode. You were like, very experienced.
Yeah, and so is it experienced and he's seen more, or is it you've changed the fundamental laws from the ground up for everybody else, so you're able to turn them off for them? Because, like, if you're more experienced than them, which is what I was leaning towards, that's one thing. That was what I was, like, leaning towards most of the episode. But when he's able to turn off alchemy for people, then I don't understand. Like, you are in charge of... You're in control of what everybody else is able to do at that point.
It plays with the idea of God even more, of, like, trying to rival God, which is, like, conversations that we got before we got out of Gluttony's stomach. You know, like, it's a lot already that humans are playing with things like alchemy, like the idea of creation, but the idea of not only being able to create but take away to, like, kind of the fullest extent of you also get to determine whether other people can create or destroy. That's, like, even more so becoming or trying to become a rival to God in terms of power.
I'm going back to, like, episode 1, episode 2 right now while we're talking, because I'm trying to... I know we're told, like, the specifics of alchemy and how it works, like, within transmutation circles at some point, but it feels like... I don't know. Like, the place of Father is so peculiar to be able to turn off just alchemy, right? Then it's something that, like... If you'd think that if Father was in that role of God, he'd be able to do both. But because he isn't, it feels like he has learned a rule set that he's able to shut down for what he knows, but not anything else. And that's weird.
But he does know alchemy, because he's able to heal the... Like, not only is he able to bring back, you know, armor arms, but he's able to heal the bones in
It's just
Ed's
the process of
ribs.
Which Scar was going about it and the destruction of it.
But Mei Chang was also allowed to use her alchemy as well. So yeah, we don't... Obviously, there's rules that are happening, but we don't know the rules.
Yeah.
So yeah, Father, Hohenheim. His reaction to Ed and Al. Father's reaction to Ed and Al. I don't know what I expected. It was not what I got. I expected was not what I got.
It's like, take care of this vessel for me. Like, what are you doing? Don't be so reckless. This is mine. I'm going to use this, you know?
But so it could have been like... I think that was kind of how you were definitely reading it during the interaction. Yeah. And I think that probably is what it is. But for a split second, I feel like a viewer or myself could have been like, wait, are we being very, like, kind of... close in the way of, oh, you guys are family to me?
Yeah.
You know? But you're still, at the end of the day, a vessel for me, because, yeah, you might be family to me, but, like, I'm still the most important, like, person that exists, and I want what I want, even if you get sacrificed. But, like, it's cool that you're here. What's up? You're alive. You were born.
Oh, yeah. Oh, why is your last name different? Oh, interesting. It was so casually... strange.
Yeah, casually strange is a good way.
Yeah,
good way to put it.
One of the things that I've like Ling, it's no secret, is one of my favorite characters in the show. One of the best moments this episode is when they got out of Gluttony and Ed and Ling, like, fist bumped, and they were like, "Fuck yeah, we got it." But with it's such a great. It's not like a new thing to me in fiction that somebody's taken over or brainwashed and they hear, like, something from a loved one that gets through to them, right? I love that. It was one of the last things Ling said to Greed before being taken over, that he mentions that Lan Fan cut off her own arm for me, and that is immediately brought back with purpose and reason, and I love that.
The last kind of, like, one of the major emotional moments we've had from Ling is him realizing how ready Lan Fan was for this thing that he's supposed to be the champion of. He's supposed to be the one making this happen. He is the one with all of those people on his backs, you know, trying to get what he needs for the Emperor and for his clan. And Lan Fan was more ready than he was, and he has now seen that, like, she has sacrificed, and if he had just been as ready as she was, maybe that wouldn't have happened. And so here he's like, I've already come to the place within myself of determination that I am ready. Like, Here we go.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier. It wasn't bodily destruction; it's decomposition. But wanted to get that out of the way. Man, I am so. It was so interesting seeing that it's a different iteration of greed. I almost expected with the voice that it would be like somebody who would remember the interactions with Ed and Al, but it's so wild. It's like it's almost less. It's further humane.
Because what it is it's bringing up your brainwashing homunculi.
Yeah,
is what you're doing. We're keeping Gluttony's memories intact because Gluttony's been a good boy. Gluttony. When did we meet Greed? He had gone AWOL and started like his own little faction of Chimera.
So it's like almost like play testing a game, and you see like a bug, and you're like, "Oop, the bug led to an error. Let's go back a version and." Before that error that led him to go off and do his own thing happened,
It's the most fucked up version of parenting I have ever heard of.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, this kid did it wrong. I'm going to restart.
It's like Click, that Adam Sandler movie.
Yep, just like that. But it's like, it's talking on that, like, trying to rival God's power. But he's like, oh, you, my child, didn't live up to my expectations. You were too rebellious. We're going to try again. Yeah. And I'm going to maybe not tell you a certain bedtime story this time around. Like,
another thing I loved this episode was Scar using Al's head without telling him or asking for consent. Yeah. But it was so cool. And the
buildup of their dynamic and relationship, the brothers to Scar, has been really rewarding and worthwhile to experience.
The best part of it, I think, is that it gave Ed flowers too. Ed, like, almost weaponized a truth, and it should have been weaponized in that case, to Scar and his anger like towards Envy and Father.
It's like
and
both.
Yeah.
It's like both was, you could see it as manipulating and weaponizing the truth to get Scar to enact something that saves it, like enact his own power to save everyone here.
Yeah.
But you could also see it as like, I just found out the truth that's horrifying to me.
True.
You need to know this, dude.
I love what they're doing with Scar. I love Scar, like, before that even happens, he comes in and he's like, okay, they're not on the homunculi side. He's such a fascinating character to me.
He already was not feeling like they would be. Like, he was already like, why are they down here? Like, before they entered this room in previous episodes, Scar was questioning why Al was with Gluttony. Like, why are they together? And I think it comes from a place that they've shown us again and again that on both sides, they believe they have a decent understanding of the kind of moral code of the other. They have a decent feeling like they understand both like past and current, who they are, how they feel, how they would feel about something. And also like, just like, would they be siding more on the side of the right or side of the good and not the evil?
Mei Chang obviously had a reaction to
Scar?
To Full Metal.
Oh, she had a reaction to a lot of people. She had a reaction to Hohenheim.
Father.
Hohenheim. Father. Sorry. Reaction to Father. She had a reaction to Ed. Unfortunately, it was like a really gut-wrenching, horrible reveal there. And she had a reaction to Scar.
Yeah.
That was interesting to me.
She seemed like, holy shit, this is like the embodiment of his rage. This is how far he can go. To Scar. To Father, he was like, she was like, he's a person, yet he isn't. Which is so interesting.
To me, she was almost like, she's scared of both.
Yeah.
She's scared of both.
But Ling and Mei Chang have the same interpretation of Father, and it's within that, I don't know if it's because of alchemy or whatever they're able to sense within people is so clear to them that it, like, I can't imagine how fearful and haunting seeing a figure like, you got me doing it.
It's hot in here, I'm sorry.
But, like, what does it look like from Mei Chang's perspective to see Father? Like, is it just, like, a person burning alive? Is it, like it must be some disjointed, distorted, fucked, like, terrifying thing to see.
Right. I think why they can sense things about Father and the homunculi probably stems from the fact that they come from a place of alchemy and study in that regard. to some extent, obviously Ling doesn't use alchemy, so like the argument has some flaws there that I'm making. But maybe because you have such a deep understanding of the human body, you'd have to have a deep understanding of the human body to be able to heal the human body. So to me, I'm like, well, then that would make sense to me that Mei Chang could at least sense something or see something that we can't about the body's makeup and the blood flowing through it. But Ling can also sense it or see it. So I really do wonder, like, what it is, like, why they can see what we can't.
Yeah.
And what that actually looks like, I think, is, like, a really great question. I don't know, like, viewer discretion advised. Do we even want to see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it looks horrifying.
Okay, well, I guess next episode we will probably be meeting up with Roy Mustang, you know.
That is probably what's going to happen. And I'm excited for that. Roy has, like, quite a bit of the opening of, like, emphasis on, like, him and Hughes in there. I feel like he's going to be doing some crazy stuff.
Maybe.
I would say my last thing that I'd want to bring up is the idea of using or accepting something that, like, with great power that you don't completely understand. So Envy brings up, like, you guys use alchemy. This is, like, a crazy power. You don't understand it completely, and you're still using it. And I feel like we can then... There's, like, that's a theme, I would say, in this episode, that idea of, like, great power, really great risk involved, too. There's 3 characters I can bring up in this episode alone that, like, have that topic you could bring up with. Scar's brother. Scar didn't really love that his brother was studying what he was studying. Why? Because his brother, people were wanting to take advantage of his brother's knowledge. People were wanting to take advantage of the research his brother was doing for things that his brother would not want to be a part of. And so great knowledge and great risk of hurting people. We know that. At the end of the day, he used his knowledge to save his brother's life. But that same power that he loved so much, that same alchemy he loved so much, was used then to hurt other people. It takes me back to that conversation between Scar and Al specifically about, like, how could I say anything bad about alchemy when, like, my brother, what he did for me with alchemy. And then Ling, obviously, with that same idea of, like, accepting great power, not understanding fully what the risk is. When Ling says yes to the Philosopher's Stone here, I don't think he thinks he's going to be taken over by another personality or being. I think he thinks he will just become more powerful. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. But
it's that immortality
it's that
too, and
of,
the
like,
idea of it that he's been, you know, telling us that he's after.
And that might be, like, what he thinks is, like, more power, immortality access, and nothing deeper than that, or there wouldn't be anything else involved here. Because it's the same thing. You're accepting in something. You're using something that you don't know everything about.
My last thing is what you partially just touched on about what Envy was saying about their reactions to not being able to use alchemy and how that might tie in with, like, what Father actually is doing.
Like, maybe if they understood it better, they'd know what was happening.
Maybe. Because the language is really specific, right? Really, I can't get over you lower life forms, right? As soon as you gain a great power, you get carried away with it. Not even knowing what it is, right? Then not even knowing what it is. Did you think you brought about the prosperity you now have all under your own power? It's like...
You're being lent something is kind of almost the language.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Like, what the fuck?
You're on borrowed time. I mean, it's... Yeah, I think that part of the episode, that conversation specifically, isn't that when Father then is like, Envy, you're talking too much? Yep. I feel like right after this.
Around there.
So to me, I'm like, obviously, I feel right in wanting to fixate a little bit on those lines in that conversation. But yeah, that is all I had.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.